Hello, Sean Woolley here from Cloud9 Spain. With me today, I have Therese and Debbie, part of the Cloud9 Spain team. And we're talking today about something that hasn't really been covered to any great extent, I feel. Everyone knows that Marbella is great for the weather, the golf, bits and pieces like that. But nobody's really touched on how cosmopolitan this place is that we are very lucky to call home. So, ladies, I wanted to invite you along because you're far more cosmopolitan than I am. You've got things like friends and, you kind of hang out in great places. Tell me all about it. No.
Where we're not working, yes.
There, exactly. Because this place used to be, I would say 20, 30 years ago, a lot of the Brits came, and then the Germans came, and then it was kind of like, it was like that for a number of years, wasn't it? And now it just seems to be this melting pot of nationalities and cultures and age ranges. How do you find it? Because we're living in a world that's very divisive at the moment, aren't we? Like with what's going on with different politicians, and everyone seems to be becoming very insular and looking after their own. But here, it's like open season.
Well, I think what amazes me here on the Costa del Sol, and what has amazed me since I first came here 12, 13 years ago, is that everybody lives side by side. You don't really have these, okay, we do have some areas that are a little bit more Scandinavian, a little bit more British, a little bit more German, but all in all, we live side by side, not like in some European countries. And I like that. I really, really like that. And I enjoy that because, for me personally, because not only in our job, but also in our private life, when we go out, we meet people, we mingle with people, automatically, you may be talking to somebody from Belgium to your left hand, and to your right hand side, you might be talking to somebody from South Africa. In behind, there's somebody from the whole world meets in Marbella on the Costa del Sol. And
do you think that's a good thing? Because a lot of people in the world at the moment don't think it's a good thing. They think that, we should all be each to our own, and but do you think it's a great thing that all these nationalities are mixing? And
I think it's a great thing because, meeting and getting to know other cultures and nationalities, other languages, other ideas, just the whole thing. I personally like it, and I also think that it is good for kids, for youngsters.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important that when we travel, we learn something. We take something with us that we may not realize in that moment, and we have it all here. We're talking about 155 registered nationalities just on the Costa del Sol, and I find that super interesting.
I was hoping someone was going to give me the figure, so well done. Well done. 155.
I was working on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Debbie, what do you think? Because we've got between us, I was going to say a Scouser, somebody from the UK. Germany, Denmark, with you, Ireland. Yeah. So already we're kind of proving the point. Debbie, your friend group, is it mixed? Do you have any friends?
I have one or two.
No, so I guess you've met a lot of people since you've been here, different nationalities. Yeah. And do you think that's enhanced your life?
Absolutely. The integration here is fantastic between the different cultures. And I think perhaps in our own home countries, Ireland and the UK in particular, there might be a little bit of resentment towards other people coming in. But here, there isn't any of that. If you go to a paddle tennis match, for example, and you're in a group of four, you could have a Swedish, an American, Irish, English. There's this myth that the Irish and the English hate each other. That's not the case anymore. Maybe a million years ago, there was a bit of friction there, but that's all dissipated. And I think it makes you a more rounded person to take on other people's cultures, to learn a little bit. There's some great Greek restaurants around. I want to try those out. So it opens up your mind, it opens up your heart if you're lucky.
Something you're not telling us?
No. No.
I think it's a great start in life for kids, isn't it? To be able to bring people up in it doesn't have to be an international school, but a school where you've got exposure to so many different cultures and nationalities. I know my partner used to work at the EIC. And he said, I think he mentioned like there being such a wide range of nationalities, and it was like a melting pot. The car park at the end of the day would be full of parents speaking so many different languages to their kids. And but the kids seem to be, they've just got this start in life where they're seeing all this, they're being exposed to different things. It's making them, I believe, I might be wrong, but it seems to be making them much more open-minded. Absolutely. So when they go out into the real world, they're much more maybe tolerant of other people?
Absolutely. And as Debbie was just saying, the resentment that we know from our home countries, it doesn't exist here. And I think it's important to show this to our children, to show this to the youth. I mean, okay, we can go into very controversial issues that we don't need to go into now, but I think all in all, we can all just learn from each other.
Yeah.
Be tolerant, what people think, what people like, what people believe, what is possible. Don't be judging so much as we tend to do in our home countries. Or sometimes we also get judged. I mean, this is called life, and I think it's something. It's just so different here. It's magic.
Do you think then this place attracts a certain mentality of person? Because obviously, if you are narrow-minded, if you are racist, or you are, I don't know, xenophobic or homophobic or whatever, if you're then thrust into the Marbella lifestyle, you're not going to enjoy it, are you? Or you're not gonna get out of it what you think.
I think the people that wouldn't want to adapt or wouldn't be able to be more open-minded, I mean, I think they will just go somewhere else themselves automatically. But I think all in all, what we have here,
it's very special.
It's very,
yeah,
very, very special. It is, yeah.
Debbie, what do you think about the Spanish? Do you think they are accepting of all this, all these foreigners and strangers coming into their beautiful country and, taking over to a certain extent? Or do you think they're happy? Do you think they think, give us back our country?
I think the Spanish that I've met have been very welcoming and very accepting. The lawyers that we deal with, the vets that I have to deal with, they're all...
Which explains the...
yes, the little injury there. It was just a bit of an accident. It's not her fault.
But it was vet-related.
Yes.
No, the vet didn't attack her. Don't worry. It wasn't the vet.
It wasn't a Spanish. It wasn't a Spanish person attacking me. No, it was a cat. Yes, I think they're fantastic. They're very accepting. And also, what I've noticed here, my Spanish is not that good. And when I attempt to say something, they do tend to help you out, or they're very kind about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was in another country, perhaps not too far away and not speaking absolutely perfect, it might be a different case.
I'm sure they have their moments, like in the height of summer maybe, when they're all working so hard, and they must think, oh God. Yeah.
Which is understandable. But I think one thing that is very important for us as foreigners coming into Spain, that we at least try. And as Debbie is saying, you will be received with open arms, and the Spanish will help you. That is how I have learned and improved my Spanish, and I still do, just by talking. And when I speak to our lovely clients, for example, and they're like, oh, Teresa, I need to learn Spanish. I said, the best thing you can do, go to a pueblo, go into a local cafe, have a little wine or something and speak to the locals. Yeah. That's how you learn to speak, and they will help you.
It's very true.
Just to try, just the little effort that we're actually trying to learn Spanish.
Very true. Whenever I go back to the UK, I always find it, and look, I'm English, I'm British, whatever you want to call me, but I always find now when I go back that it's just becoming a little bit grimmer and grayer, and everyone's closed-minded, and I don't know, it's and then I come back here and everything's more open, and maybe it's because the sun's shining, I don't know. But one thing I noticed, apart from just the nationalities and the mixture and the melting pot, is I think the Spanish culture of family comes across as hugely important here. And I was amazed by that when I first came here 24 years ago. The respect that was given to older people, so the grandparents in the family were revered, and the kids as well. The kids were a part of the family. So if you're going for a meal on a Saturday night, you take the kids, you take the granny, and everyone just piles in and has a great time. Yeah. In the UK, that wouldn't happen. If you're in a certain place at 11 o'clock, you wouldn't, you'd be like, they need to go. Yeah. The kids need to go, or the old people are embarrassing us. They need to go. Here, it's just a part of life. And I think I think that adds to the cosmopolitan mix of the place, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I think the lifestyle over here, there's not the same drinking culture, if you like, in Spain that there is in the UK and Ireland. You see families go out for 4 hours at Sunday lunch and they leave wine in the glass. That would never happen in Ireland.
God, really?
Yeah.
Someone should have a word.
I know, but it's just a different, more relaxed culture. It's not like, God, we're going out at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, we have to go sit.
They don't. Yeah, they don't drink to get pissed, do they?
No, they don't. And I really like that element of it. And as you said, they bring their kids. The kids are always dressed nicely. And
But am I right in thinking that in Ireland, it's very much family, isn't it? Family is sacrosanct, or is that bit going as well? It used to be
Ireland's
known for
changed.
it, has it?
And it makes me sad to see the Dublin. The Dublin that I left 8 years ago is not the Dublin that it is.
Really? So it's changed that quickly?
It's changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And
yeah.
what's that down to? Is it all the geopolitical stuff that's going on, or
I think it's got some social problems like the UK. It's got people have got quite aggressive and violent, if you like. We used to go into Dublin city centre and have the most fantastic nights out. And now I'm talking to my friends and they're like, no, we won't go. And there was an incident there at the weekend. So it's just not great. It's expensive. I feel safer here
yeah?
as a female than I do in my own home country, which I think is sad.
I remember.
I will
yeah.
get into a taxi in Spain here. I won't get into a taxi in Ireland happily. Okay, that's just the way it is.
That's interesting, isn't it?
On my
Because
own.
when we first came here, we had my partner was a teacher, and we had lots of single female friends who were also teachers, and they would think nothing of like walking through the middle of Marbella at 3 a.m, 4 a.m, a little bit drunk. And in England, you wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm 6'3". I can't walk around the centre of Bath, which is a beautiful city, at 3 a.m, because there's a police wagon there. There's a fight breaking out there. There's, oh my God, someone spilling the kebab. And you just don't get that here, do you? There's not that, as you said, there's not that race to get drunk. There's not that, I very rarely see, I don't think I have seen any violence,
No.
I mean, things happen everywhere.
Of course.
But all in all, as Debbie is saying, when people go out, when the Spanish go out, just go for a walk along the beach on a Sunday afternoon. You see the families, you see the kids, everybody's playing. It's more joyful.
And
And authentic.
It's very authentic. We are not trying to push ourselves. Okay, now we have these couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon. Now we have to do this. You just live, you enjoy, and okay, now I feel like doing this. Now I feel like doing that. You don't really have like a set plan. It's just go with the flow.
Do you think it's because of the weather? Because obviously in England, as soon as the sun comes out, everyone's got the barbecues out. Everyone's got their cans of beer, and everyone just do the barbie and
I mean, here, in the communal parks, you will also see the families, that are not as fortunate to maybe have a barbecue or their own garden that they meet in the parks. They gather with friends and with family and with the kids and everyone, and also have a little drink, have nice food. But I think that the spirit in general, and I do think that the weather plays a big role. I mean, for myself, for example, I love to travel. I love to, go to Germany, to Denmark, travel a little bit, come back after a couple of days. And when I step out of that plane, the light here is magic.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't know what it is about.
very
it.
different light.
There's something about it.
It is. I spoke to a client the other day. I know it doesn't happen often, but this lovely client said to me, Marbella is just a bubble. And I was like, a bubble? And I thought, yeah, he's right. It is a bubble. It's probably a very false bubble, because is it the real world? I don't know. But you know what? I don't care. I would rather be living in this bubble than living in the real world at the moment.
And enjoy life instead of being in Ireland, in the UK, in Denmark, in Germany, grey, frustrated. As you were saying, with the political situation, being half German myself, looking at what's going on in Germany, I'm like, okay, I'm not part of that anymore, thank God. Yes,
and Spain has political issues, my God, probably more than most, but there's just something, but I think particularly where we are, Marbella, Costa del Sol, we are kind of protected in this bubble. And part of me thinks, okay, I think I'm living this authentic life, but am I? Or is this just a kind of man-made bubble? But actually, I don't care.
But then what is authentic? What's not authentic?
Exactly. It's an interesting debate, isn't it? But I said to this guy, I said, look, I would rather be living in this bubble of nonsense or whatever it is than living wherever, and having those.
And it'd be grey and.
Yeah, I mean, the impression I got from the UK is that, you work for 30, 40 years and then you get your pension. Yay, you can retire. And then you start doing the garden, and then you start getting ill, and then you go to a nursing home, and then you die. And that's life. And it's like, Jesus.
That is the reality for a lot of people.
Yeah, here we've got, you can be 75 dancing on the tables in
They're doing
in
yoga
Sweden,
and Pilates classes on the beach.
Yeah.
And
they won't bat an eyelid. If someone were to dance on the tables at the age of 75 in England, it'll be all over YouTube, wouldn't it? But, this is a playground. It is a, you can do things maybe you couldn't get away with in other places, but
as you say,
I'm thinking of you when I say that. Specifically,
Well, for me, life is always a dance. It will always be a dance. No, I mean,
you like a
yeah, it's nice. It's not, and nobody points the finger. Points a finger at you. I mean, I was in Germany last summer, and I was wearing a little bit of colorful clothes, and everybody was looking at me like,
you were wearing clothes.
I was actually wearing clothes. I was actually wearing clothes with colors. And I felt a little bit like, okay, E.T. in the middle of I don't know where, but
Yeah.
here it's normal.
Yeah. Do you know what? I did that. I have a very nice coat. I haven't worn it for a few years because I put on a bit of weight. Very nice coat from quite a well-known designer, but not blingy. It's just a very nice, well-fitted coat. And I was going out to go shopping in, I'll name it, the Pyramids in Birkenhead. I know, this is where I'm from. And my sister said, Sean, you can't wear that. What do you mean I can't wear what? She said, you can't wear that coat. Like, why? Because people will just like look at you and laugh at you.
So
What, because I look smart? She went, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just, oh my God.
yeah, but
That says a lot, doesn't it?
It says a lot about a lot of things, doesn't it?
it's actually a bit. I actually find it sad. I actually find it sad. But for me personally, I've just come to I don't care. I live in the south.
Would we live anywhere else?
Absolutely not.
So is it because I was having this debate yesterday about Dubai. Dubai's on everyone's lips at the moment, and I've never been to Dubai, so I've got to be careful what I say. But I've heard it's an amazing place. People said you've got to go and visit, which I will.
Yes.
But they said, but you wouldn't live there, or you might live there for a couple of years just to sample it and work and earn a tax-free or cheap tax income. But you're never going to retire there. You're never going to end your days in Dubai.
Dubai is amazing. I've been there and I was very, very amazed. It was like everything is wow. For me, I could live there for a period of time, but it's not the same as what we have here. I mean, I've lived in different places. I mean, I moved here from the Algarve, which is very, very nice, but I came here to visit. I lost my heart. I went back, I packed it up and I moved here.
Yeah.
That was basically, Dubai is also like a big bubble. It's a different bubble, but it's, you have a bit more city stress feeling
Yeah.
in Dubai as you do here.
And it's very man-made, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I think here you've got a bit more culture, you've got a bit more, again, authenticity about the place. You've got the cobbled streets and all that sort of stuff. You know, you've got the history. Dubai, I think, yeah, as a spectacle, wow.
It is.
And I will go and visit and pay my dues, but it's just something, I don't know, maybe that's just what tribe I'm in. I just don't.
Dubai's
don't feel it.
impressive. Dubai is very, very impressive. And as Debbie was saying before, something like security, for example,
Yeah.
walking around in Dubai, especially for us women,
Yeah.
it's next level. I mean, I was there 10 days. I mean, I was very, very impressed.
Oh, okay.
Also with the service, with the quality of food, the quality of everything. I mean, that's something that is next level in Dubai, I must say.
I think
But-
if we could adapt some of the services that they have,
Yeah.
for example, there's a service and an app for everything,
Yes.
I believe. So if you want to take your car and have a few drinks, you can call somebody and they will arrive and collect you and your car and drive you home. That kind of thing.
Oh, you want an easy life, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do.
Jesus. But none of us are in Dubai. We're all here.
Yeah.
And so and we all look at it as our long-term home, which is fantastic. We're not itching to get back to wherever we come from. You know, we're all committed to the place. So listen, thank you so much for coming along today and chatting to us about this, because it's something that a lot of people kind of gloss over. They talk about the obvious things, but actually that soul of the place and what makes it so popular and cosmopolitan is important to talk about, I think. So thank you. Thanks for joining us. We will come back to you shortly with another episode.